Okay, good morning. Right, so we're going to start with the actual speed, distance, time questions. Um, we'll do a good bit of practice on these. I'd say I'll probably give this two classes. So we'll start with the kind of slightly more straightforward ones today, and we'll do the higher level ones then. There's a huge amount of difference between them, really. I think if you understand it, you'll be able to apply it to a slightly more difficult question, and it shouldn't be too big an issue. Okay, so second years. So the little triangle you can see there. Where am I? Sorry, I'm trying to get my iPad to the same place as the thing. Yeah, see the triangle here? Okay, this is called, you can see it just underneath. It's called Dad's Silly Triangle, okay? And the reason it's called Dad's Silly Triangle is because we do D for Dad, S for Silly, and T for Triangle. But they also stand for distance, speed, and time. Okay, so Dad's Silly Triangle just helps you to put them into the triangle in order. Yeah? Okay, and the way you use the triangle, so you can use the triangle to get distance, you can use it to get speed, you can use it to get time. Okay, so if you have a question and the question says, what is the distance? Sorry, what is the distance? Then what we do is you use your hand, I'm going to use a marker, but you use your hand and you cover distance. And you can see what's left, speed and time. So then the formula is speed multiplied by time. So there's a multiply here between speed and time. Okay? So then if you have a question, what is the time? Or obviously it might say that differently. It might say like how long or, something like that. So if they're asking for time, if time is what you're trying to figure out, then you take your hands and you cover time and it reveals the formula. So the formula is distance on the top over speed. And this means, that line there means divide. So to get time, you take the distance and you divide it by the speed. And then the last one you could be asked for is what is the speed? So if you're asked for speed, again, you take your hands, you cover speed, and then the formula is revealed. And the formula this time is distance on the top divided by time on the bottom. And that's how you use the triangle. Okay? So we'll come back to it and we'll use it a few times just when we're doing the questions, but we'll have a look. So a train travels 125 kilometres. So 125 kilometres, the fact that it's in kilometres should tell you what it is, but that is a distance. Okay, in 2 hours, and again, the hours is a big hint, that's time. So so there's your question, what is the speed? Okay, so we're going to go back up here. Speed is what they're asking me for, so I'm going to cover speed. Then I see the formula, it's distance divided by time. So I go back down here and I write that down. I'm being the shape. So distance divided by time. The distance is 125, the time is 2, and you can use your calculator to get the answer, which is 62.5. That's the speed of the train. Yeah? So, right. we look at this one. So we have a rocket travels upwards at 150 meters per second. So again, this is your hint, meters per second. That's speed. Here's the question. How long? So that's time is what we're looking for. And then to reach a height of 75 kilometers. So again, the kilometers will help you decide that that is a distance. Okay, so the speed is 150, the time is what we're looking for, and then the distance is 75. Is that all right? So time is what we're looking for, so let's go figure out our formula. So we go back up here. Get rid of this. Time is what we're looking for, which means I cover it. The formula reveals itself, distance divided by speed. So I go back down here and I write distance divided by speed. Okay, the distance is 75. Now we need to talk about this, right? And the speed is 150 m per s. Okay, this here, I think I said it at the start, that's meters. This bit we say per, and that is seconds. Yeah? And then this thing up here is clearly kilometers. Okay, so what is happening is that I have two different units. Like meters and kilometers are both distance units, but they're different. You can't have that. They must be the same. Okay? So speed is really hard to change because it has the seconds stuck on, so it's much easier to change the distance. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change this into meters. Okay? The general rule, this can be a little bit tricky. When you're going from a small unit to a big unit, so for example, like here, we're going from meters. Like a meter is relatively small, as in you can kind of do a meter by spreading your hands out. And our bigger unit here is kilometers. So when you're going from a small unit to a big unit, you divide. When you're going the other way, from a big unit to a small unit, you multiply. Okay, so we're going from meters to kilometers, which means we're going from a small to a big unit, so we're going to divide. And then it's just about realizing how many, or learning how many meters are in a kilometer, how many centimeters are in a meter, and things like that. So we'll learn them as we go along. There's not that many, but there is 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So we're going to take the 75 and we're going to divide it by 1,000. And that is 0.075, right? And that's what I'm going to use in here. Sorry. We're not going from meters to kilometers. I've literally written it down. Okay, hang on. It literally says change into meters. So what we're doing, we have kilometers and we're turning it into meters. So we're following the multiply line. So it's not 75 divided by 1,000, it's 75 multiplied by 1,000. Apologies. So that is 75,000 meters that I'm going to replace this with. Okay, so we'll just go through that one more time. They have to be matching. So if your speed has meters in it, your distance has to also be meters. This one wasn't, so we have to change it. Yeah? So what we have here is kilometers. What I've written over here is correct. When you're going from a small unit to a big unit, you divide. And when you're going from a big unit to a small unit, you multiply. So we have kilometers. That's what we have. So we're over here, the big unit, and we're changing it into meter, and a meter is smaller than a kilometer. So we're going from big to small, which means we're following this lower arrow. So the rule is we're going to multiply. Then it's about deciding what we multiply by. So you kind of need, there's like a list of them. I'll write a few of them down. So 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. 100 centimeters is 1 meter. 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually. And then you also need the time ones, not for this question, but you do need the time ones, which people tend to be more familiar with. So 60 seconds is 1 minute. 60 minutes is 1 hour. And 24 hours is 1 day. So they're kind of your conversions. And essentially, so on this side, on the left-hand side, they're all smaller than the ones on the right-hand side. Does that make sense? So millimeters is smaller than centimeters. Centimeters is smaller than meters. So if we're going in this direction, then we're going from small to big, which means we will be dividing. Whereas if we're going in this direction, we'd be going from a big unit to a small unit, so we'd be multiplying. Yeah, and it's the same thing over here. A second is smaller than a minute. A minute is smaller than an hour. An hour is smaller than a day. So if you're going from the small, anything on the small side to the big side, you're going to be dividing. And if you're going from the big side to the small side, you're going to be multiplying. Yeah? So we were going, you can see it's the last one here. I'll try and get a different colour. This one here. We're going from kilometres back to metres. So we're going from a big unit to a small unit. So we multiplied. And what did we multiply by? We multiplied by 1,000. Okay? So now that I've got the numbers in, I've 75,000 divided by 150. And that gives me 500. So that's going to be 500 seconds that this, it's going to take this rocket to reach 75 kilometers in height. Is that all right? So it's literally just about going through the question, identifying what you've been given, figure out what your question is, go back up here, find your formula, write your formula down and fill it in. Just being very careful that the units match. And if they don't, all this is how you convert. Okay, it is confusing. Like, I mean, I got confused there. It is confusing. So just take your time when you're trying to convert. Make sure you know, am I going from big to small or small to big? Is it multiply, divide? And which number am I talking about? Am I multiplying by 10, by 1,000, by 100, by 60, whatever it is. Okay, so give a few of them a go and we will do more. So don't worry, we will do more. I'm going to pick 3 here. Yeah, these ones, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so they're going to be your homework. Friday. So Friday the 3rd of December. Let's go 20. All right. So that's your homework. I'll put that onto Schoology now in a minute. And yeah, do that for Tuesday. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a nice weekend.